All right, Zach, so the Patriots just had their first day of practice after roster cutdowns, but to my understanding, this roster could actually look a lot different when the Patriots play the Dolphins week 1.
Yeah, the initial 53-man roster is very rarely the exact roster that you see when teams enter week 1. And we've already seen some tweaking to this Patriots roster over the last couple of days. A couple positions that I'm watching going into this week 1. One of them is quarterback. We know Mac Jones is the starting quarterback. There's no question about that. But currently Mac Jones is the only quarterback on the Patriots roster. They have two more on their practice squad, and Brian Hoyer and Garrett Gilbert, who they just picked up yesterday. The Patriots can go into week 1 like that. They can elevate Brian Hoyer to the active roster for their first game, or they could bump him up to the 53 at some point in these next couple of days. So definitely monitoring that situation. Also kicker, it seemed initially like Quinn Nordin had beaten out Nick Folk, and technically he did because he is on the 53-man roster, but Nick Folk, steady veteran, is still here on the practice squad. So if Quinn Nordin, the rookie, struggles at all early in the year, could definitely see Nick Folk bumping up and taking his spot there. So yeah, definitely still some fluidity to this Patriots roster.
Yeah, and it's definitely interesting to monitor as we get closer and closer to week 1, but there's also reports now that N'Keal Harry is being placed on injured reserve.
Yeah, unsurprising there. I think that's what everybody anticipated after N'Keal Harry suffered that shoulder injury against the Eagles a couple of weeks back. That was reportedly a 4-week injury, so going to sideline him a little bit into the regular season. Now that he's going on IR, he won't be eligible to play in the first 3 games. I don't know how big of a role N'Keal Harry would have had in this offense anyway early in the season, because he's definitely 4th on that wide receiver hierarchy behind Jacoby Myers, Nelson Aguilar, Kendrick Bourne, and we are expecting the Patriots to use their tight ends a lot more in their offense this season. So might not be a lot of snaps to go around anyway for N'Keal Harry, but yeah, now we won't see him until week 4 at the earliest.
And speaking of injuries, Stephon Gilmore, he'll miss the first 6 games of the season now that he's been placed on the PUP list. So how will the Patriots make up for that difference in the secondary?
Yeah, very significant absence for the Patriots. This was probably the second most significant development other than the quarterback development over the last couple of days, because when you look at this defense, there really aren't any glaring weak spots except now the spot where Stephon Gilmore usually would be. I think you'll probably see Jalen Mills slide into that starting spot at outside cornerback, maybe some Joejuan Williams in there, maybe some Sean Wade if he can pick up the defense quickly after he joined the team. But there really isn't an obvious internal replacement there for Stephon Gilmore to slide in opposite J.C. Jackson. So maybe we could even see the Patriots add to this position a little bit before week 1. But definitely a real concern for this defense going into the season.